Where are you and Marquise at right now? How's your relationship with
I
your
don't
son?
have a relationship with him.
50 Cent and his son have had some serious drama over the years. Their relationship is so bad that 50 has even said that he wouldn't care if his son lost his life.
The energy between us was terrible.
But why?
This was my firstborn son, my own flesh and blood, and we couldn't even speak to each other.
Where did all this hate come from? And why did 50's relationship with his son break apart so badly? You won't believe all the things they've said about each other.
If it rattled like a snake and it slithered like a snake, is it a snake or do you need to be bit?
50's son Marquise was born in October 1997. According to Marquise, his relationship with 50 was pretty amazing during the first 11 years of his life. He said that growing up, 50 was like a superhero to him. He got to see 50 on TV one day, then be dropped off at school by him the next. He completely looked up to 50. That all changed, however, when 50 and Marquise's mom, Shanika, broke up. And then everything came crashing down.
Your son wants to sit down with you.
No, he doesn't.
In 2008, when Marquise was 11, 50 and Shaniqua split, putting Marquise at the center of a very long and difficult custody battle. After all the legal dust settled, 50 was granted 1 weekend per month with Marquise. According to Marquise, his relationship with 50 went downhill after they broke up.
He's been trained to believe that for a long time.
Marquise felt like 50 wasn't around nearly enough. I honestly wonder how much of that was because of the custody agreement. But according to Marquise, as he continued to get older, he started to notice certain negative patterns in the way 50 treated him, and because of that, they continued growing apart. Now Marquise claims that he and 50 don't talk at all. Marquise revealed that he doesn't even know when the last time he spoke to 50 was. So clearly at some point 50 stopped making an effort altogether. According to 50, the reason they no longer talk is that Marquise allowed himself to be brainwashed by Shaniqua's opinion of 50. 50 said that Marquise fully bought into the negative view Shaniqua held about 50. He claimed that Shaniqua developed significant jealousy and entitlement over the years and had very unrealistic expectations of 50. And he thinks that that attitude rubbed off on Marquise. He called it a sad situation, but here's the weird thing. Shaniqua completely disagreed with 50's assessment. According to Shaniqua, the reason 50 and Marquise don't speak has nothing to do with her viewpoints. Rather, she wrote on Instagram, 50 is to blame. She claimed that 50 chooses not to have a relationship with Marquise and chooses to bully and threaten him. She thinks that if 50 was a better father, he would still be on good terms with Marquise. Some of 50's comments over the years seem to support Shaniqua's side of the story. 50 has publicly said some pretty awful things about Marquise.
Sometimes when you've been hurt a lot and you've done your share of the hurting too, it feels best to walk away.
In 2018, 50 wrote on Instagram that he wouldn't care if Marquise got hit by a bus. The harsh sentiment was in response to Marquise posing for a photo with Supreme McGriff Jr., who is Kenneth Supreme McGriff's son. As some of you may know, that was significant because Kenneth is a longtime rival of 50's. There are even allegations that Kenneth might have been involved in a plot to take 50's life back in 2000. So according to 50, the comment about Marquise getting hit by a bus was justified by Marquise hanging out with Supreme. He said that Marquise associating with Supreme is a reflection of the negativity Marquise feels for 50. Apparently, 50's grandfather encouraged the disdain 50 felt for Marquise after seeing the photo. His grandpa asked him to reflect on what it meant that Marquise was spending so much time with someone 50 had beef with. 50 said that his grandfather compared Marquise to a snake. He asked 50 whether he needed to be bit by the snake before he cut it off. His grandfather's words clearly resonated with him because he went so far as to say he wouldn't care if Marquise lost his life. 50 shared some harsh words about Marquise a few years later. When 6ix9ine was released from prison in 2020, 50 said he'd rather have him as a son than Marquise. And the comment definitely wasn't because of fuzzy feelings 50 had for 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine is infamous for giving authorities information on his colleagues in exchange for a lighter sentence, and as such, pretty much no one in the world of hip-hop likes him. 50 spoke down on 6ix9ine right before, saying he'd rather have him than Marquise, so it was definitely more of an insult to Marquise than praise of 6ix9ine. The most recent installment of the 50 Marquise saga was a back and forth about child support. Per TMZ, 50 has been paying over $80,000 a year to Shaniqua in child support, but according to Marquise, that's not enough. In an interview with ex-rapper Choke No Joke, Marquise Marquise claimed that $6,700 a month isn't nearly enough to support living in New York City, especially because 50's numerous beefs limit where Marquise can live in the city. It's interesting that Marquise would bring up 50's beefs to explain why he would need more money from him. He showed that he has no issue with hanging out with 50's rivals when he befriended Supreme, but 50 didn't even focus on that. Surprisingly, he just said it was ridiculous that Marquise is still worried about child support at the age of 25, which is a pretty fair criticism. Most people would be thrilled to get close to $7,000 a month from their estranged father well into their mid-20s, but Marquise was complaining it wasn't enough. After 50's response, Marquise posted a photo on Instagram of him lying next to the words entitled spelled out in $100 bills. It was inspired by 50's famous post with broke spelled out in $100 bills. Marquise also expressed sarcastic appreciation for 50, acknowledging his birthday, referring to the 25-year-old comment. After Marquise was criticized pretty widely for complaining about the $6,700 a month, he returned to social media with an offer for 50. Since people thought $6,700 is a lot, said Marquise, he was willing to pay 50 $6,700 to spend a day with him. He wrote that he wanted to get to do everything he wanted to do with 50 when he was a kid. It seemed like a pretty nice sentiment actually. He was trying to reconnect with 50 even if there was a decent amount of sarcasm involved. 50 however responded with one of his harshest takes on Marquise yet. He posted a video of his character from the TV show Power. In the video, 50's character Kanan takes his son Shaw's life with a firearm after they have a disagreement. He wrote that there was no caption needed. First he said he would be okay with Marquise losing his life, and now he seemed to suggest that he would be the one to take it. I wonder if Marquise took the post as a genuine threat. 50 is no stranger to violence, so Marquise might have actually been scared for his life. That happened in October last year, and so far 50 hasn't done anything as drastic as the video suggested. So I'm really curious to hear what you all think. Did you know 50 has such a bad relationship with his son? Do you think they'll ever find a way to get along? Let me know in the comments below.